Is there any watch that compares to a Rolex? The best part of being a watch collector these days is the massive quantity of high-quality watches being designed, manufactured, and sold all over the world. If there's a watch you like but can't find, there are probably hundreds of other terrific alternatives available, some of which may even be greater than the watch you were originally going for. The stainless steel Rolex Daytona, for one, is a watch that certainly doesn't need any introduction. It's probably the hardest watch to come by, and it's possibly the most desirable watch in the world, or near it. And there's no other way of defining it than being absolutely ridiculous when it comes to secondary market prices for these timepieces. There are several appealing Rolex Daytona alternatives which you can get your hands on right now, if you're just looking for a beautiful watch and not a brand. And we're all for putting money aside for the watch you really want, but if you add all of these watches all together, the overall value of these watches that we'll be talking about in today's video will be roughly the same as the Rolex Daytona trading price. We'll be looking at price points that are likely to be a little higher, but we believe it is reasonable since if you really want a Daytona, you would definitely go for one direction that is more achievable today. We've rounded up 5 of our favorite alternatives to the Rolex Daytona if you're looking for great value and a well-made chronograph. There really is nothing wrong with going for a Rolex Daytona. It's an obviously well-made timepiece. For a variety of reasons, it is a famous watch. Rolex is a known brand for producing high-quality watches, and stainless steel Rolex watches are often less expensive than the gold ones. The Daytona is particularly popular because it goes with almost every outfit, whether you're wearing a formal suit or a basic shirt on the weekend. If you've already tried to buy a Rolex Daytona from a Rolex authorized dealer, you've most likely left unhappy and without a stainless steel Rolex Daytona on your wrist. This shouldn't stop you from buying a good watch. On the contrary, it gives you the option to keep looking until you find something even better. The oyster bracelet chronograph capabilities and ceramic bezel are the major features that make the Rolex Cosmograph Daytona such a desirable timepiece. The Rolex Daytona Ref 116500LN, whose official name is the Oyster Perpetual Cosmograph Daytona, has a 40mm stainless steel casing that adds to its appeal, owing to its nearly universal comfortable dimensions. Several other chronograph watches, on the other hand, provide all the Rolex Daytona collection offers, and perhaps even more. Vintage Daytona models, like the substantial Platinum Daytona cost, can be quite expensive, but then again, stainless steel Rolex Daytona watches can be incredibly costly. Number 5. Tudor Black Bay Chrono at $7,220. Even without the historical links to Daytona Beach motorsports racing, the Tudor Black Bay Chrono is by far the most closely linked watch to the Rolex Daytona. Its origin is inspired from a mashup of styles, incorporating design elements from both racing chronographs and dive watches. It includes a 41mm stainless steel case and bracelet with panda white with black subdials, as well as reserve panda dials, black with white subdial displays. The watch also has a black stainless steel bezel, and the case's sharp lines are emphasized by a combination of polished and brushed surfaces. This watch features 2 subdials balanced from either side of the dial, whereas the 6 o'clock position is kept clear for a date display, instead of the 3 subdials you would be used to seeing on chronograph watches. The chronograph counters are operated by 2 screw-down pushers, which, coupled with the strong caseback, ensure a water resistance of 200 meters. The watch is powered by the manufacturer caliber MT5813, a COSC certified movement with a 70-hour power reserve. The Tudor Black Bay Chrono is a popular release among watch collectors, and at a third of the price of a Rolex Cosmograph Daytona, it promises excellent value. Number 4. Tag Heuer Carrera Sport Chronograph at $8,300. Tag Heuer is yet another Swiss watchmaker with a long history in the motorsport and race car drivers world. This brand, just like Zenith, launched their first automatic chronograph movement in 1969. It boasts a 44mm stainless steel case with the design's iconic sharp arching lungs, making it a fully modern chronograph. A similarly sharp black ceramic bezel wraps around the dial's perimeter with an engraved tachometer scale. The black dial features 3 black subdials, as well as a date window at the 6 o'clock position. This watch is powered by a manufactured Heuer 02 automatic movement that runs at 28,800 vibrations per hour and has an 80-hour power reserve. The watch is presented on a steel H-link bracelet with a convenient folding clasp. This is the watchmaker's ultimate all-around do-anything chrono, and it comes at a reasonable price. Number 3. IWC Pilots Chronograph 41 at $10,900. The IWC Pilots Chronograph 41 is the newest version of the renowned Pilot's watch from Schaffhausen. Although its design differs from the Rolex Daytona watches, which were designed for the skies rather than the racetrack, it remains one of the best contemporary chronographs available. It has a 41mm steel case, which is smaller than the previous generation's 43mm size, and will easily fit most wrist diameters. The watch, which uses pump pushers to activate the chronograph, also shows the day and date on the sunburst blue dial. It doesn't have the same ceramic bezel as other chronographs, which has a tachymeter scale for calculating lap times, conversely, opting for a wider, more legible dial with the extra space. It has huge Arabic numerals on the dial, which are covered with luminous paint for low-light conditions, which is important for pilot watches. The IWC Pilots Chronograph 41 is both accessible and adaptable, appearing on a stainless steel bracelet, with the EAS exchange system and driven by the 69385 caliber. Enjoying this video so far? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Number 2. Breitling Navitimer B01 Chronograph 43 at $12,290. Breitling has a long-standing history of producing road and aviation timing equipment, and the Navitimer B01 Chronograph 43, loud and proud, continues that legacy. The Navitimer, which has been made for pilots from 1952, is one of the most iconic chronographs in watchmaking history. This watch has a 43mm stainless steel case with sculpted lugs, as well as a unique bracelet with diagonally slanted links. The tachymeter scale sits behind the sapphire crystal that covers the dial, and the rotating bezel is angled for easier grip. The timepiece has a black and white panda dial with 3 subdials, as well as a date window at the 4:30 position. A number of red highlights contrast with the black and white dial, adding some vibrancy to a somewhat reserved dial. The automatic caliber is powered by the Breitling 01 movement and has a power reserve of 70 hours. The Breitling Navitimer B01 Chronograph 43 is a suitable everyday companion in the field of sports chronographs. Number 1. The Zenith Chronomaster Sport at $14,300. The Zenith Chronomaster Sport was introduced in 2021 to rave reviews from watch enthusiasts and journalists alike, and it marked a new step forward for the legendary El Primero movement. Its gleaming ceramic bezel elegantly framed the trademark tricolor subdials, and it had a sleek, sporty appearance. The latest Zenith edition came in a 41mm steel case with a perfectly matched bracelet and was also offered in either a black or white dial color. A year ago, it was Zenith's best-selling watch, including pump pushers to start the chronograph mechanism and a sapphire crystal case back to show the outstanding automatic movement beneath. The El Primero 3600 1/10 of a second automatic chronograph movement, which is Zenith's latest caliber, is housed below the dial, while the Zenith Daytona is based on the original El Primero movement, which was introduced in 1969 and was utilized by Rolex once the Paul Newman Daytona was discontinued. It has a modern spin in its capacity to measure 1/10 of a second, with the chronograph hand rotating once every 10 seconds. This watch is a really modern sports chronograph with a water resistance of 100 meters and a power reserve of 60 hours, fully prepared for just about anything your day may throw at it. We featured some of the top Daytona alternatives available today, as well as the more inexpensive pricing points that you could possibly imagine than the existing market value of the Daytona. If these alternatives piqued your interest, be sure to let us know in the comments section below. And if you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.